So in the end, I had to be an adult regarding the battery. Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Procrastination Garage. It's Sunday, about 11 a.m., and I haven't done any video editing for this week, but man, I don't think I've done anything for Procrastination Garage, really. So, and I'm not sure what we're going to get done this week, but what I do know is that right now we need to get the UTV out of here. We need to clear the driveway, and then we need to get the Toyota Venza down for an oil change, because my wife is headed out of town at the end of the week, and it's due, and let's just get her done. All right, the work's done on the bottom side. Now I just need to fill her up with oil. I'm using Castrol 0W20 mostly, but they didn't have quart sizes at Walmart when I was there last time. So I picked up a couple of 0W20 Valvolines, all synthetic. It's all good oil. And this one was opened. I filled up pre-filled the filter before I put that in. So we'll use all of this, 5 quarts. This makes 6, and then we'll use that for half a quart. So that'll give us 6.4. So let's get that done. All right, for some reason this is not a full one. That's not cool. Oh shit. Do we have a full one? I did have a full one. It just wasn't with the oil and filters I'd set aside. Don't spill. Take a look at the battery cables real quick. One more thing, you know what that is? See how low she is. That's not bad. Done. Oil's changed. We'll get it outside and I'll check the air pressure in the tires. I still have my mess to clean up here, but I'll probably wait until after lunch because my daughter's coming over and she's bringing brute cheese subs. So all four tires were a little low. It's really hard to say. The gauge I use that is hooked to the air hose was saying the pressure was about 34, and I try and keep them around 35. But the gauge that I trust more was showing them at about 29 when I'm down to 28, and that's definitely way too low. So I'd rather err on the side of caution, so I use the gauge that reads high, or maybe reads accurate, we don't know. So anyway, using the gauge that's got on the air hose, I ran them all up to 40, which put them all about 34 to 35, which is right where I want them. Or else they're a little high. But a little high is not bad. Maybe the tires will wear faster, get better mileage. Overall, it's not a big deal. Running tires low, they get hot, they can explode, and we've already seen what happens on the Venza when a tire goes out. So let's not do that again. Looks pretty good, right? All cleaned up. And not only that, I cleaned off the top of the toolbox, put everything away there. And you didn't know it, but there was a big pile of tools down there left over from working on the KLR. And I'm not done working on the KLR, but it's always nice to start off fresh with tools. So now we just need to bring the UTV in and park it for the night. I'm a little disappointed that none of you asked. Yeah, I'm talking about the firewood that I hauled up to the camp out a while back. Did we have enough? In fact, we did, and this is what we had left over. So before we put the UTV away, I should go ahead and unload that. because I was afraid you guys were looking over my shoulder, I even cleaned out the bed. I mean, I didn't wash it, but I swept out all the pine needles and leaves and things that were accumulating back there and straightened up my recovery equipment. Looks good, right? So how about an update on the Troy build? After replacing the throttle assembly the last time, I hadn't used it. It'd been like 2 weeks since I'd mowed our yard here, and I did it on Friday. And so that's the first time I used the throttle. So after I finished, I shut it off, and I have not tested the throttle since then. So let's see, is it stuck? And if so, how bad is it stuck? Yeah, it is. It's stuck. That's just amazing. Yep. I would have thought we had that problem licked. I don't know why it's stuck now. Yikes. Yeah, that's really disappointing. Because, I peeled back the plastic skin. You see, you can see where I peeled it back to. And I thought that would have fixed it. So why it's sticking, is it sticking out further? Or, there may be an inner plastic liner that's melting. I don't know. I'm not sure what the long-term fix is for this. I guess we're back to the drawing board. All right, I spent a few seconds prying on it and had to put a lot of force into it. It is working again. But again, I don't know why it's doing that. Oh well. I see you're still watching. So do me a favor, hit the like button and please subscribe. And tell all your friends. Thanks. It's Monday afternoon. Let's back jump on the KLR, and I think we want to pull the carburetor off and clean it. Also pull the battery out because we're going to need to replace it. I'm hopeful I find something with the carburetor, because if there's nothing with the carburetor, I've got a new spark plug for it too. See it right there. So we'll swap that out. But between the carburetor and the spark plug, if that doesn't solve my problem, I'm not sure where to go next. Again, originally I thought that there might be a timing issue, maybe a jump time or something. It just seems to run so good in the lower RPMs. I have a hard time believing that's what it is. But if we check these other two things and that doesn't cure it, I think we'll have to maybe check compression, or I guess maybe I could check compression anyway. I'll think about that. There it is, she's out. I did watch a video on this yesterday because I wasn't sure what needed to be unassembled to pull it. I'm kind of surprised that they actually took it out. They left both rubber pieces in place, and man, it is a tight fit. But it did work. We'll just have to be careful putting it back together. One thing, the two metal clamps, they kind of got in the way, so I'm going to leave them off until I get the carburetor back in place, and then we'll put the clamps back. This here is part of the choke assembly, and I had to unscrew that. I'd kind of forgotten that from the video. I started to disassemble some on the left-hand side, and only to realize that the clamp, it was for the clamp, but it was tucked down underneath and I just didn't see it. So anyway, we've got it out. Now let's clean it up. So here it is. At first blush, you can see there's a little bit of coloring going on here from fuel that was sitting there. We'll have to get it open and see what it looks like on the inside. I'm hoping I find something dirty in there to make me feel good about this, but we'll see. That's pretty clean. Well, that's too bad. We've got a little bit of dirt in here. This is underneath where the vacuum diaphragm sits. Other than that, I'm not really seeing anything. I worked on a friend's Kawasaki that had one of these diaphragm carburetors, and what I found was that this rubber piece had come loose from where it was seated in here, and it wouldn't run right. So maybe that is an issue here. It looked like it was probably okay, but we're going to go ahead and spray everything down with a carb cleaner and all the orifices and try and put it back together and see what happens. I'm not digging any deeper than this in here. I'm not sure what else to dig into. I know there's a mod you can do where underneath where the little green spot is, there's some kind of like idle mixture jet or something that you can mess with. I don't see any reason to change it. It was running good before, so I think we'll leave that alone. So anyway, let me get it all cleaned up and let's put it back together. All right, time to put it back together. I sprayed it out with carb cleaner. I didn't find anything huge with it, but I did know that the fuel that's in there is kind of some nasty fuel. I'd spray an area and it would turn clear, and then a little bit later it would change color, and the liquid I would see was a mix of some old gas. But I didn't find any real dirt problems or anything, so I don't know. We're going to put it back together and hope for the best. all back together. And hey, look, no pieces left over. That's always a good thing. All right, now let's get it back in the bike. That's going to be a little trickier just because we've got a little bit of dirt around here. We want to make sure that none of that dirt gets inside the carburetor. I'll do the best I can. I cleaned up the area with a little carb cleaner first. Hey. Look who's here visiting, the black cat. See, he won't give me the time of day. Well, that's it. I think we're done for today. So I don't know how much of the carburetor reinstallation you guys are going to see. And if you do, it's going to be fast forwarded like you wouldn't believe. I had a heck of a time getting that carburetor back in there. I basically ended up putting it back in the same way I took it out, but I didn't think that was going to be the easiest way. So I tried some other things. None of them worked. So in the end, I kept working, and finally got it in there. So it's back. I've got the throttle cables hooked back up. I did tighten this one up right here because it was a little on the loose side. Up here you could feel it. Now you don't. I think that is good. We won't know for sure until we get it started and running. The air box. See, at one point I was hoping to go into the air box and maybe do something with this boot here, but there's nothing to do. You can't reach through there. But having the air cleaner out, it's obvious we need to clean it, so we'll do that tomorrow. We will change out the spark plug. I do have a new one. Once the spark plug is changed, we can put the tank back on, and then I guess it's kind of ready to go for a ride. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy a new battery for it yet or not. I certainly would like to. It would make this process a whole lot easier, but if I still got something going wrong with this thing, do I want to waste the money on a battery? On the other hand, Spark having enough juice may be part of the reason why it's not running good at high RPM. Maybe it needs a new battery because it won't even start on the battery. Even if it can spin fast enough, it doesn't have the voltage to get it to fire that first time. Not usually. So anyway, we'll figure it out tomorrow, and if so, maybe I'll go get one tomorrow. But that's it for tonight. It's Tuesday afternoon and headed back in the shop to work on the KLR. Let me tell you, it's feeling like fall today. I mean, we are in October, so it ought to be. But the trees starting to change. But the big thing is the temperatures dropped. There's a little bit of a wind, and I'm just kind of chilled to the bone today. And it's been raining off and on since early this morning. We're going to start out today by pulling the spark plug out. I'm first going to blow the spark plug hole out, try and get as much dust and dirt out of there as I can. Once I get the plug out, I will see if I have a compression adapter to screw down in there. If I do, we'll do a compression test. If not, we'll just go ahead and swap the plug. And I've got the new plug over here already gapped at 0.035, which is right in the range. So let me get the old one out. Oh, well, can you see it? It definitely looked like a good time to replace it. Looked like it's running a little lean, maybe? I don't know. So there's my compression tester, and I do have an adapter that'll screw down in there. So we'll go ahead and try it. I need good voltage to turn it over, but hopefully the jump pack will do it. And I think we need a figure of a little over 60 psi. And the reason so low is because there's an automatic compression release that's built in. And unless you disable it, you won't get an accurate reading. But apparently that is a satisfactory reading. So we'll go ahead and try it and see what we get. All right, I lied. The adapter I have, which looked like it was the right size, is a little too big. So I'm going to have to see if I can get one. I thought this was a multi-piece kit, and I thought it had more adapters, but I'm only finding the one. So I may have to go on Amazon and see if I can find one. But for now, we've got the new plug in there, got the cap on there. Next up is the air box. Let me show you guys. There's the inside of that part of the air box. Now what that is that is oil from the, you take the filter and you soak them in oil, and that's what that is. So we need to clean all that out. And then we need to clean this filter out. I'll take it up the house, clean it in soapy water. They need to soak it in oil. And I think I even have the proper oil for it. I'll check. How's that? That cleaned up nice, didn't it? That's just dish soap and water. And I even have some K&N air filter oil. Now it does say specially formulated for K&N air filter, so hopefully it'll work for this one. Because I'm not sure what this one is. I suspect, does it say Uni on it? It may be a Uni filter. Probably not stock. That's what came in the machine. And it's a good filter. I mean, it's better than a paper element filter for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and get this oiled up and reinstalled. I've got the air filter oiled and reinstalled, and the box that it sits in is pretty clean as well. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's outside of where the air is coming. It has to get through that filter. And then the last thing was this cover here that goes over that. It's all cleaned up and ready to be reinstalled. I've made the command decision. I am going to go ahead and replace that battery. So let's get it out. This is what was in it: a Federated AGM Power Sport Professional Series battery. And it is an ETX 15L with 220 cold cranking amps. So that's what we need to find on the cheap. Since the gas residue we found in that carburetor was kind of questionable, let's go ahead and empty the tank. I'm not going to get rid of that gas. I'm going to go ahead and run through a lawnmower. That gas had stable in it, but it's old. I mean, it's several years old. So we'll put some fresh 91 octane non-ethanol in the KLR. So let's get it pumped out. So in the end, I had to be an adult regarding the battery. After looking it up, I can't find anything under $100 to replace it. And $100 is a lot of money to spend on this KLR. So the compromise was I have about $300 saved up on Amazon from Amazon points. And that's just kind of mad money. So I went ahead and I ordered a new battery on Amazon. But that means it's not going to be here for a week. So that means that the KLR project pretty much is done until then, because I really want a battery in it before we do anything else, and anything else means take it for a ride. The other thing I did was I ordered an adapter so I can use my compression tester on this. So if it comes in before the battery or before I get back to work on this, then we'll run a compression test. But I'm hoping to get it back together to take it for a ride before the compression check piece comes in. So that may or may not happen. We'll see. That's a wrap on this week's Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was kind of a tough week because last week's video took so long getting out there. So I didn't have as much time to work on content for this week, and maybe it shows. I don't know. Anyway, we're getting closer with the KLR. Hopefully next video we'll be able to take it for a ride. And not sure it's fixed, but we'll at least see what's going on with it. So remember, the #1 goal of Procrastination Garage is to keep me motivated, to keep me working on projects like the KLR, or getting started back on projects like the KLR. Down in the comments, tell me about the projects you're working on, or tell me about the things you're procrastinating about. Remember, my name is Matt, and this is Procrastination Garage, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks.